What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another week, another episode. Sorry, my board got stuck there for a second. On the Daily Grind, I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about EA gets bought. We not predicted a private studio in any way, shape, or form. I remember having conversations with chat. Those of you that have been here for years and years and years, right? I always said that EA was going to get sold. And I said that Apple because everyone's like, oh, Microsoft is going to buy them. I said, I don't know about Microsoft. I was thinking about Netflix. I was thinking about Apple. I was thinking about Amazon. I was thinking about these big corporations that were going to buy EA. And I never even thought about a private equity to come in and pick up EA for $55 billion. So we talked about this like 3 years ago. I was like, there's no way that it doesn't get sold, because this is actually probably like 2 years ago, because we were talking about Blizzard. We were talking about other companies that could get sold. And I said Electronic Arts could get sold, but I thought it was going to be one of the other bigger corporations that was going to pick them up. And obviously it did not. So we're going to talk about EA confirms that it's $55 billion investors. We're also going to talk about over half of Japanese game companies are using AI in development, according to a new survey. We're also going to talk about the ROG Xbox Ally could have been cheaper. We'll talk about that whole, because that came out on Thursday, like right at the end of the show on GXG, where it was official that the price was actually $1,000 for a handheld device. So just a couple of these stories. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. What's going on, chat? What's going on? Clips, Altern, Travis, Sarge, El Dente, Eclipse. I already said that. Mr. Luke, Worlds, good morning. Robert Jones, good morning. Who else am I? Anyone else I'm missing? No? All right. Welcome. So let's start with the big elephant in the room, which is EA strikes a $55 billion deal to go private in a Saudi Arabia-backed buyout just a week before the launch of Battlefield 6. Okay. Again, if you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday. We just have conversations. We go over news stories, give you my thoughts and opinions, have a little bit back and forth. Not a debate, just talk, right? It's not a debate. There's no right or wrong here. This is just your thoughts, my thoughts, everyone's thoughts. So EA shares will be valued at $210 a pop. So if you are a EA stockholder, I don't know what was the stock at before this buyout. Electronic Arts has announced today that its plans to go private have gone ahead. All right. It includes a Saudi Arabia public investment fund and a Trump son-in-law, Jared Kushner, Infinity Partners, alongside the private equity firm of Silver Lake, has snapped up EA in a $55 billion deal. Now, before I even read on from here, look, I have no problem with companies buying companies up, right? So when I first heard this, I thought it was just the Saudi Arabia company buying them out. And what I don't like about this is not because they're Saudi Arabia, okay? But the reason I didn't like this is because, one, EA is an American company. They're owned by Vanguard. Vanguard, which is in Pennsylvania, owned Electronic Arts, right? EA was right down the road for me, Tiburon Studios that makes Madden football and whatnot. And so I was a little worried when I heard this was happening for private, because I'm okay with other companies. Like, obviously, I don't like monopolies and stuff like that, right? I don't like that Microsoft keeps buying everybody, but I would rather have a company that knows about games buying gaming companies, right? What I don't like about this whole thing, and even though they have other investments in the gaming space, this is non-gamers buying gaming companies because they want to make a crap ton of money. And the problem when you're making a crap ton of money is they have to keep making a crap ton of money. Okay. And the problem that what I also don't like here is that those of you that we try not to talk about politics and stuff here, but world events and stuff like that. Saudi Arabia in the last couple of years has put a lot of investment in American companies. Why? Because the American companies make a crap ton of money, right? Our GDP is like huge compared to the rest of the world. And they used to be huge on oil. Okay. Well, oil is, no pun intended, drying up for them. Not because they're running out of oil, is because that the United States and stuff are starting to use other means of oil, not just going to the Saudi Arabians. Okay. So the Saudis are looking to invest their money into other companies, and they're looking to invest the companies into American companies. If you look and go look at how many companies they have stakes in, 5%, 10%, whatever, that's what they all, that's what they want to do. They're trying to diverse their portfolio, and they're trying to invest in companies. So now think of it, why would they buy EA? Why would they put a major investment? Because they already had, I believe, don't quote me, you guys can check me, I think it was like a 5% or 10% stake in EA already. Okay, but EA was a public company. They decided, right, that they're going to make it private, and we'll go over why they want to make it private, what this means for gamers, what does this mean for employees, what does it mean for just the industry as a whole, okay? Oh, hold on a second. Sorry, I had to get a little gnat. So they're trying to invest their money into other means. EA, think of EA as oil, okay? They have a crap ton of people that buy all the EA games, okay? Microtransactions, streaming services, right? So basically, instead of pulling oil out of the ground, they're pulling, you are the oil, right? The users are the oil. So this gets me a little worried because EA, as we know, as gamers, we already think that EA is already in the shitter, right? At least to the gamers, because you're like, oh, they've already tried microtransactions. In my opinion, this is going to be even worse because now, obviously, a lot of companies don't like to share their numbers. Okay, well, you're a private company. You don't have to share any of your numbers. So transparency is out the window. Okay, so our creative and passionate teams at EA have delivered extraordinary experiences for hundreds of millions of fans, built some of the world's most iconic IPs, and created significant value for the businesses. And the moment is powerful recognition of the remarkable work. Andrew Wilson, chairman of CEO Electronic Arts, says the official news post. Looking ahead, we will continue to push boundaries of entertainment, sports, and technology, unlocking new opportunities together with our partners. We will also create transformative experiences, inspire generations to come. I don't know if you're inspiring generations to come with your rehash of FC and Madden football and all of the other stuff. I don't know if that's inspiration or to inspire people. More energized than ever in the future, we are building. It says, as part of the deal, we also have been announced that EA shareholders will get $210 per share in cash. I wonder who's one of the bigger stakeholders in that company. Andrew. This represents the premium of 25% of EA's closed share price of September 25th of 2025. Just before reports of the deal were hinted at, as reports from Wall Street Journal guessed that the deals could be anywhere around $50, not too far from the result. Or 50 million, sorry, 50. Is it 50? Around 50. I don't know if it's $50, 50 billion. The $55 billion deal also now cements EA as the biggest ever leverage buyout. Unsurprising, the $45 billion buyout of Texas Utility Group in 2007, for reference. A leverage buyout is also when private equity firm uses a large amount of borrowed money to finalize the deal with what is also acquired use of collateral in debt, effectively leaving the buyout company liable for the debt. Now, the company's future income will be used to repay the debt over a period of time. In this instance, $20 billion of the financing for the buyout comes via a loan program of JP Morgan. Now, the news comes amidst a string of success for EA, having just released a well-received FC26 that delivers a huge overhaul to the core game mechanics, while also gearing up for perhaps the most anticipated FPS this year, Battlefield 6. It's no underestimate to say that things are looking better for EA now than they've ever have in a while. Yeah, it's amazing how all of a sudden it's the best they've ever been, and now they're going private. Although this isn't to say that EA hasn't struggled in recent years after losing its sought-after FIFA license. Well, they didn't lose it. They pushed them out because they didn't want to give them an extra $500 million. Think about that for a second. They didn't want to give them a $500 million over 10 years. Okay, so they booted them out the door and went behind their backs. Yeah, but EA, losing. I like how they sought after license of FIFA. They went around their backs, got the FC. Anyway, that's a completely different story. Pretty underwhelming Dragon Age Veilguard launch earlier this year, followed by a downsizing of BioWare. And we'll have to wait to see exactly how this buyout will affect EA and games it's publishing, and whether or not will actually help developers ship better games, or it's just another way to whitewash the global image of Saudi government. And my hopes are not high. Yeah, nobody's hopes are high for this, right? So what does this mean overall, right? What does this mean? Uncertainty, right? Uncertainty of stuff that happens in this, right? So $55 billion. What does this mean for gamers, right? For gamers, this is less pressure for quarterly hits, right? And not really for us, but for them, right? Because it doesn't matter if a game fails or doesn't fail anymore, because they're just going to be throwing money, private money towards them, take more risks, I guess you can say. So it'd be, they don't have to constantly be up, on Wall Street to make the profits go up and stuff like that. Now, obviously, they still want to make their profits go up, but it's behind the scenes now. It's not a public company anymore, right? Which might allow maybe a little bit more, maybe creative freedom. I don't know. All right. Maybe experimental with like some new IPs. I doubt it, because the people that are running the company now don't know anything about video games. Okay. They know about video games that make money, and they want to make money. So they might hopefully hire the right people to stay in positions to make the games. But right now, EA is not really in there. Look at the games they're making. Look at the games that, besides Jedi Survivor, Battlefield's changing big time. Okay. So we'll see what happens there, right? What happens for gamers more? More monetization. Okay, more monetization. $55 billion is a lot of money, right? $65 billion, $70 billion for Microsoft, and we were talking about how they want to make their money back and accruing that back. Okay, well, this is even more. Okay, so if you think Madden, FIFA, Battlefield, all the other games, The Sims, do you think that they're going to keep it exactly as is? You're sadly mistaken, okay, because they're going to monetize more, right? This could be doubling down on live service, doubling down on the microtransactions, doubling down on the sports franchise monetization and stuff like that, right? A good thing, I guess, for gamers is if you like FIFA, right? You like Madden, you like the college football, you like Battlefield, you like The Sims, those things are probably not going anywhere, because I don't think they would dare to destroy these games, because they want to make their most money back as possible. So these 5 franchises alone are probably here for the foreseeable future, regardless what happens to Battlefield 6. Okay, right? No matter what happens to Battlefield 6, if it's successful, if it's not successful, it doesn't matter if it sells 5 million copies or if it sells 25 million copies. Okay, they won't share those numbers now, because they don't have to share those numbers now. It's a private company moving forward. And then the shake-up, other things that could happen in here is a possible subscription strategy where EA Play could be restructured or bundled differently now, or even sold off, right? So there's that. Now, obviously, with a buyout, restructuring happens. So what happens to the employee side, right? Restructuring of private equity deals means layoffs. 100% layoffs. Okay, and is this going to be pushed out as big as what happens when Microsoft lets go of people? Probably not. Okay, but layoffs, projects being canceled. You might hear that we're all looking forward to Iron Man, right? Well, Iron Man might not come out now, right? Other games that are working in the background might not come out now, because the people running it, it's not a proven hit, right? So you don't know if it's going to come out, because the private people that are not gamers, that are just now private owners, are like, do you think Iron Man will sell? I don't know if Iron Man will sell. Well, the data says that it's not going to sell. So they might just cancel. Okay. Cancel the studios. They might close down studios that are working on these projects, cut costs. Okay. Because again, they want to make their money back as fast as possible. Potential upside. Okay. With less public shares, right? Shareholders, scrutiny. So that's good. They can invest in long-term, and sort of like what's his name? Android Wilson said. They can innovation of stuff, but that's probably not going to happen, right? And then there's a the control by the Saudi Arabia, PIF, and Silver Lake could shift priorities towards global expansion and different growth markets. So they might completely change what's happening there. So that is some of the, pros and cons of what's happening in the thing, right? So this is one of the biggest buyouts we've ever seen, right? This could be the beacon, right? Because what's happening around the world is gaming companies are the biggest in the world, right? What's going on, El Nini? What's going on, Argus? So this could be the beacon, the flare that goes up in the air, that all of a sudden, that more people start buying these companies and make them private. This could move to bigger publishers that buy out these companies to also become private as well. The consolidation is going to happen no matter what. This always happens no matter what business you're in. New people come in, they grab the stuff, and then they put new people in charge, new things. And here's the thing, right? Where EA started, okay, we loved EA. EA was just a small company that loved making video games. And then obviously, because we loved their games so much, they became bigger and bigger and bigger conglomerate to a point where they had to keep the EA company as a whole swallow the people that created it. They left to go to other places, and it became this Unicron, as I would say, as my analogy for Transformers fans out there. EA became Unicron. And Unicron is its beast of its own, where it has to keep eating companies and they have to keep surviving. And EA over the decades has bought up smaller companies, chewed them up, spit them out, and just kept what was working for them. Well, now what happens here is even more because of a private company, especially when at least the people that started buying up companies knew what they were doing with these companies, kept the good, got rid of the rest. But you watched how all of these things happened over the decades where EA kind of lost its way, and they got rid of a lot of IPs. They got rid of a lot of studios that had these IPs, never did anything with it. They doubled down, tripled down on the subscription model, the all Madden stuff, all FIFA stuff, the Ultimate Team type of stuff, right? And completely went out the window. And they were like a husk of a company. Well, now with the private investors, in my opinion, this is even worse. You thought EA was bad before, well, now they're going to be worse because at least EA, regardless of what you thought about them before, okay, they still had people in there that knew what gaming was. These people don't know what gaming is. They know that gaming makes money, and that's why the Saudi Arabians were like, yeah, that sounds good. And someone said, hey, we'll go in with you. They're trying to shift their money from oil to other tech sections and whatnot because they know that oil is not going to be there always, right? So they're trying to diversify, like I said earlier, their portfolio type of stuff. So is this good or bad for the industry? That's to be has to be seen yet, right? Hindsight's 2020, right? You can look 5-10 years down the road and go, oh, this was a better deal for us or for gamers. Be like, oh, this is great because they made great games. But 9 times out of 10, this is worse for us, the gamers. And unfortunately, not that I've been buying a lot of EA games recently, but Battlefield 6 might be the only game I buy from them, if I buy from them, because I'm not buying it when it comes out day one. I'm not buying out in week one. I'm not buying it when it comes out in month one. I'm going to wait and see what happens. I don't have to say this over and over again. So Battlefield 6 might be the last EA game that I ever purchase and own, if I even own it, because it's digital. But yeah, going forward, I have no interest in what EA is now, because EA is no longer EA. It's just EA by name, with a bunch of rich investors behind it, just trying to milk us instead of getting the oil that they had before. They're just trying to get us from what it is. It's bad. Look at WWE selling to TKO. I mean, what they're trying to do, same thing, Ron, is that the Saudi company, didn't they buy? Again, I don't really follow everything too closely. Didn't they buy the MMA type of stuff, right? They're just trying to diversify their money, right? I don't think this is a good deal. I mean, obviously, it's a good deal for them, but I'm not going to be one of the cows they milk. You understand what I'm saying? But these are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think about this? Do you think that EA, does this affect you in any way? Do you care in any way? Do you like, no big deal. I'm just going to keep buying it and keep doing the thing. Do you think this is better off, or do you think this is worse off? Let me know in the comments section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just have live conversation. Come on by, check it out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. All right, let me see what you guys are saying about this. What's going on, Rorik? Z, good morning. Z says the Saudi group already had like 10% stake in the company. They don't like what the leadership is doing. Go private and wreck shop. Oh, absolutely. And wreck shop meaning they're going to wreck it even more, right? Because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. What's the last mega hit that the Saudi Arabia gaming developers made? What is the last mega hit? Look it up. Right? They'll revive Mirror's Edge, maybe. Altern says, what does this mean? No more women main characters going private. Next main character might be Arab base, probably an oil factory simulator game coming soon. Who knows what it means? Who knows what it means? Robert Jones says, we will now get a Metal Slug-themed Battlefield game. Jason says the Saudis bought SNK. It's also been business as usual for them. Who knows? Maybe it could be a good thing. It could be a good thing, right? But again, like I said, 9 times out of 10, what happens here is if it's business as usual, they're like, let's not change anything, right? But EA is a much, much bigger beast. All right, this is the biggest investment they've done. And maybe they don't rock the boat. Maybe they just keep it as scummy as it is already. Or maybe they change it, but I doubt they'll change it in a good way. Sarge says quadruple down, bro. Eclipse says, how much you want to bet if they do Titanfall 3? Travis would be, oh, I love EA. Maybe. Who knows? Roic says the NFL needs to take their exclusive license and let others make a better football game. EA is just a greedy company and will put out MVP and stupid people keep buying it. 100% Roic. Now, I don't know what the sales were for Madden this year, but if they didn't sell well, they lose the license. If it sells well, they can opt to extend the license. So hopefully, people are not idiots, and they don't buy the Madden as much as they wanted to, because then the NFL license would go out, and you would get a better game. You would get a better game if you stop buying Madden. But people don't realize that. People are like, nah, I love Madden so much because I need it. But at the same time, it's like if you don't buy it this year, just 1 year, you don't buy it, then the NFL license goes to other people, and then Madden has to compete instead of just minimal viable product. Sarge says 1,000% layoffs. You do not know how many people you have to lay off to get to $55 billion. Yeah, there's going to be massive layoffs, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, the oil money, El Nini, is what they're doing, but there's a thing, I forget what it's called. I think it's called the Arabian, I forget what it's called, but by 2030, Saudi Arabia is trying to get off of just depending on oil. So they're doing this big, huge movement of all the money they made over the years and decades from the oil. They're now investing that into other companies. If it's tech, if it's AI, if it's video games, they're trying to diversify, but they're all buying into American companies, right? And I'm not saying to people because Saudi Arabia is owning things, don't buy the thing, right? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that these people, and obviously the other PFI and Silver Lake, I don't know much about Silver Lake or PIF, right? But I don't believe they know much about gaming. But I do know they've invested in other gaming companies. So has Saudi Arabia, right? So it's not like a stream to boycott anybody in any way, shape, or form. It's just that, you know, as a gamer, when conglomerate companies buy something they really don't know of, it's like that meme with Steve Buscemi with the skateboard that comes in and he's like, hey, fellow gamers, you know what I mean? Like that type of thing. That's what this feels like. It's people that don't know anything about it, but they know they're making a lot of money. It's like a guy that knows a guy. He's like, hey, I know you know nothing about football, but there's a good bet on the line. If you just loan me the money, I can invest your money. We can make a lot of money on this. They're like, okay, that sounds good. Eclipse says, I think they're doing this because of esports. They're going to make a sports game very popular in esports. Oh, for sure. For sure. They definitely have plans for Madden and for the other sports things. I mean, FIFA, which is not FIFA, it's FC now, is the largest sport in the world, right? Jason says they built the Pokemon theme park too, and I think Dragon Ball 1 is coming too. They aren't messing around. Robert Jones says, I like Jason is saying SNK is the test case. I don't have to wait to see 30. It's Arabs, and they also make it worse. I don't know if that's true or not. This is not good, especially, and again, I think this is the test thing as far as when this goes private, many more game companies are going to be bought and put private. Let me see what else you guys are saying. No, the fan. There's I got cleaning people over here. They're vacuuming. That's what that noise is, Mo. They treat people that is not Saudi Arabia different. They only do that. Their place is they also carry WrestleMania. Wouldn't be there. EA and sports games are already in the shitter. Can they get any worse? Yes. Anytime you think it can't hit rock bottom, you can hit rock bottom more. And then when you're at rock bottom, you'll know you're at rock bottom. Z says 30. Copilot says Saudi publisher bestseller is Last War. It's mobile. Look at FIFA. Why would EA buy it if they didn't buy FIFA license? And also still one of the best-selling soccer games. Oh, 100%. They're going to make their money with the FC and Madden. The question is, do they change and raise it 10 cents? Do they raise it 30 cents? Do they raise it 50 cents? Do they leave it where it is? Instead of a ultimate card costing $10, does it cost $12 now? You know what I mean? Argus says, I mean, I'm not going to get deep into my politics on this, but since it isn't politics channel, like they're also, I do get it into it, but certainly don't approve of anything the Saudi Arabians all outside of its own country. I'm a big thing as well, Argus. I don't like American companies selling to outside American, but I do understand it as far as, like, for instance, who is going to buy Apple, right? Obviously, right? If Apple was going to sell, who could buy Apple, right? Nobody by themselves besides like Elon Musk and maybe some other billionaire could be like, yeah, I'll buy Apple, right? It's probably not going to happen. So two things would happen if Apple ever got sold off, right? They would have to break up the company and sell different divisions to different people, right? And I guess I'm using Apple, but you could use any company, right? Just any big company, right? They're so large. How do they get bought? At some point, someone's like, yeah, we're going to sell. We're tired of this. We don't want to do it. They have to keep growing. They can't grow anymore. So they're like, I'm out. So they sell to somebody else, and it's someone else's problem now, right? So what do? When these corporations, mega corporations, become this gigantic company that they can't get bought, they either have to break it up or find someone that's big enough to buy it. And EA is looking around and going, well, who do I buy? And a couple years ago, I said, I thought it was going to be Amazon. I thought it was going to be Apple. I was thinking to myself, like, oh, one of these companies would buy this company, but I was mistaken, right? A private equity firm teamed up with other people to buy this, and now that's where it goes. I don't like that. I don't like that. Just like I think other people in other countries, I'm trying to think of a major company, like Harley Davidson. It's not American anymore. I think it's owned by Sweden or German, right? John Deere is not owned by an American company anymore, right? That to me is deceptive, because a lot of people think that if they buy a John Deere that they're buying American, but that's not the case, right? So there's a lot that goes into it. Other countries, whatever they have over there, I don't think they would sell to us, right? And I just don't like how we sell to them. People sell land to other people, right? That are outside the country. It just irks me in a way, right? ROG says this sounds like a rich guy was like, you know what? I want a video game company, but doesn't know how or make a good one. It's exactly right, ROG. Did you ever watch Cannonball Run with the Sheik? Right? He just kind of throws money at things. He's like, whatever, and he just buys it. That's basically it, right? That's basically it. Don't worry, that wasn't a fire alarm. That was my fan turning on. I think that would Ubisoft brought private thoughts. I mean, they separated their companies, right? I think this is going to be more of a this is the new projection thing where everyone's going to they're going to sell their things off privately because they don't have to tell you the sales numbers. They can tell you the sales numbers if they want to. Like if something sells well, they'll be like, hey, we sold this many. Before they kind of had to, and if you were on the board or if you were a stockholder, you could look up the numbers and know what a game sold. But even then, EA was like being very deceptive because they would literally just put it off as the digital, right? So if Madden Football only sold physical copies, 10% of physical copies, everything else was digital, it'd be like, yeah, Madden Football sold really well. It's underneath the digital, and the digital would look bigger than it is because microtransactions and everything else fell underneath that. So they were kind of like blurring the lines anyway. But now you don't need to know anything, right? Now they can spin it where they tell you that, oh yeah, it was a hit. It's a hit, but it wasn't a hit. Argus says the interest of country's citizens often gets put aside for the sake of money. Even here is ours. Yeah, 100%. Charles Hawk says I avoid supporting Saudi Arabia any way I can. Here's the thing, if you look at it, and I respect that, Charles, right? You try to do it as much as you can. Like if you want to support local, right? Like you buy local as much as you can until you can't because big conglomerate companies come in and buy these small mom and pop shops and they keep them mom and pop shops to make it look like they're still mom and pop shops. You understand what I'm saying? Right? They keep the aesthetics, they keep the all the stuff to look like a Trojan horse type of thing. But meanwhile, you're like, yeah, I'm supporting local businesses, but yet you're really funding something else, right? There was something that happened a couple years ago. Our toll roads, right? Our toll roads are being taken by, I believe it's I want to say it's a Netherlands company or a German company, right? So our tolls are supposed to be going towards our roads, right? We pay a toll, and then they do the fix of the roads, and they keep it going, and we're self-sufficient, right? That's what it's supposed to be. Like we, the people, are paying a toll so we can maintain the roads, right? That's why we don't pay state tax and stuff like that. But now there's companies that bought the company that are taking the money from the tolls and then using it for other investment purposes, right? So as a person that drives on the road, you're like, yeah, I just won't take a toll road until all the roads are toll roads. And then what are you going to do? Right? You can't get around. It puts a blockade in your life. So there's a lot of stuff like that where I 100% respect what you're saying, where you try to avoid as much as you can, but until you can't, because they just because if they buy one thing, they'll buy another thing. If they buy that thing, they buy the next thing. They buy the next thing. And then all of a sudden, they own the shopping plaza. Not only do they own that shopping plaza, but they own all the shopping plazas. You're like, well, I guess I'm not eating here. I got to drive 15 miles out just so I can get another supermarket. Jason Marshall says, I just read that Saudi Investment Group is part of funding a new Lord of the Rings game. I thought the new Lord of the Rings game is coming from Amazon. Is it not? Are they part of the investment of that? Or is there 2 Lord of the Rings games coming out? Dolphin says, I woke up late from all the beer I consumed during the Packer game last night. I saw Water Bear say, you guys tied last night. I didn't watch the game. I don't really watch. I watch the highlights and stuff afterwards. That's going to come and bite you guys back in the ass, right? It ended up as a tie. So the Cowboys and the Packers now have a tie. Later in the season, you guys are going to miss the playoffs by like one game because of that tie. It's going to bite you in the ass. I bet they will sell Assassin's Creed other studios for good popularity, or Ghost Recon series. Yeah, I can see that, Jason. I can see Ubisoft like selling off bits and pieces. Like, let's see, we'll sell this one, right? And you can see maybe like Microsoft or Sony or someone pick up that thing, or maybe a private investment firm. I mean, look at was it Embrace? No, not Embracer. Is Embracer the one? I'm getting confused here. Oh, Embark. Embark is the one that made Arc Raiders and the finals. Embracer is the one that took and took all the other companies and put them together, right? Private investors, and basically screwed everything up, right? So there you go. There's another example. El Nini says that's capitalism for you. I have no problem. I have no problem with capitalism, El Nini. I have a problem with capitalism when we sell out to outside the country. Right? I have a problem when American companies sell their company to outsiders. I have a major problem when someone that buys a company that knows nothing about the company, right? They're just buy it because they have a lot of money and they want to make a ton more money, right? I have no problem with people making money. I have a problem with outsiders buying inside things and then making the money there. And if they don't make the money, then they just tear them apart and destroy them. That's what I have a problem with. Paris says, remember when the Seahawks went to the Super Bowl often? Weird how the times have changed. Everyone has their fan. Everyone was their fan. Oh, for the Seahawks? I wasn't a fan of the Seahawks. I've always been a Giant fan only. But when my team's not in the playoffs or anything like that, which just happens more times than not, it all depends who it is, right? I usually go for the underdogs. There's always a good story between the underdogs. You know what I mean? The last 9 drives was a scoring drive. That's insane. That's insane. Real quick, talk about sports ball. I knew when Russell Wilson came on the Giants, I was like, he's washed up, man. Everyone's like, he's good. He's good. I was like, no, he's done. Right? The only reason we get him, okay, is because they need to train other people, right? So we got Dart now, right? They started the rookie quarterback for the Giants. He looked okay. We beat the Chargers. It was kind of lucky. He got sacked like 6 or 7 times in the game. And Dart, I think, is going to be really great. But I think if he keeps running like he's doing in his very first game, the coach has got to bring him to the side and be like, look, Dart, you got to stay in the pocket. And if and when the pocket closes, then you run. He constantly gets the ball and first instinct is run. That's going to stop real fast because he's going to get injured, and then he's going to sit in the pocket. But at that time, young guy was Ole Miss. So I'm excited as a Giants fan to see what he does, but he's got to learn to stay in the pocket. But the run game looks fantastic right now, which it didn't look fantastic 3 weeks prior. Dolphin says, I love Wilson because he was one of the Wisconsin Badger. But yeah, look, he was great back in the day. Don't get me wrong. Wilson was a fantastic quarterback back in the day. But you guys see the last 3 games? Did you see the highlights of Wilson the last 3 games for the Giants? Like, he's thrown into the rafters. Like, what happened? Sarge says the upper management at EA did their job. So corporate saluted their way into the buyout. Mission accomplished. They get paid, and the American company gets dissolved into a foreign investment group. That's right. El Dente says, are we talking sports? We talk everything here, El Dente. We talk everything. We go with the flow, right? We go with the flow. That's how my show, I think, is a little different than everybody else's that's out there, right? We talk about games. We talk about entertainment. We talk about sports. We talk about whatever's happening in chat. You know what I mean? We go back and forth. Robert Jones says, Satan is the highest bidder. The board will sue you when you don't pick the highest bidder. That's right. Yeah, so EA, right? EA, this doesn't look good. But we'll see what happens. I would love to be wrong, right? I am right that everyone said that EA would never get bought out, right? Again, I admit I'm wrong that who bought them, but I'm correct that EA got bought. I said everyone has a price. Everybody has a price, and theirs is $55 billion. Para says EA was a fantastic company to work for. Did you work for EA? I worked for EA way back when it was like 2001, 2002. I was a game tester for Madden Football back then. Well, actually, just in games in general. I worked at the Tiburon Studios when I was in college. I only worked there for like 2 months. Travis says 30 EA Sports is no longer in the country. Tiburon moved. They're still in Orlando. They're just not in the same location where they were in Maitland. Robert Jones says, how much is EA even worth when they don't have the sports license? That's a good question, Jones. That is a good question, right? I mean, obviously they've signed the deal with FC. That's like, I think, a 10-year deal, if I'm not mistaken. Madden, they had a 15-year deal with, and they had a 5-year extension, and they get another extension if they make the sales. It'd be interesting to know if they lose the Madden, what does that... God, I'm just trying to think about that for a second. If they lose Madden, which they think they should, I think NFL... I'm sorry, they keep Madden, but NFL license. They lose the NFL license. They have Madden. Madden's not going anywhere. The NFL license, does that devalue what EA is? Do they just look at it and go, well, there's no reason to have Madden anymore, right? Because if everyone can have an NFL license, Madden's value plummets down. That's an interesting question. Paris says, I would know. I was on the skate team for 3 months. My contract was 3 months. It was remote. Yeah, I did 2 months. It wasn't a contract. I just stopped because I was doing it while I was at school and stuff, and it was just too much. It was 2002. That's what it was. It was 2002. Not 2001. It was 2002. Let's see here. Yeah, I worked there for the summer. Let's see here. Jesse says a Netflix versus Paramount over WB bid on streaming. Oh, what's going on with that? I haven't paid attention, Jesse. Is Netflix going to try to get WB? I thought Paramount was getting WB. Ron says EA has Anthem. It's funny you mentioned that. My son started playing Anthem because he just got his account where he could have an EA account himself. So he's playing like Star Wars. He's playing because of Skate. He wanted to play online. He couldn't play Skate online. So I gave him parental. So now he can play Anthem. So he made me download Anthem. We were about to play it, and then he's like, he wanted to play a different game. Anyway, I'm going to start playing Anthem with him because he wants to play through the story. We have to beat it before January, right? Because then there's no more online. Dog says, so the FIFA license, they just went around the whole FIFA thing and paid the clubs direct, much easier and cheaper. I don't know if it was much easier. What they did, we went over this, Dog, a couple of years ago when they were actually talking about it. They didn't want to pay additional $500 million over the 10 years because EA wanted to make more money. So what they did was they went around and went only to the biggest teams, signed the biggest teams, and then everyone else kind of folded. They went behind their backs, went to the biggest teams, and then had everyone else, well, if this person's in, then I'm in, kind of thing. That's what they did. They did a bully tactic, basically. Paris says, my mother worked at BioWare for three Mass Effect titles. She quit before Andromeda was released. Here's the thing. A lot of people, when I worked for certain companies, when I worked for Apple and stuff like that, a lot of people hate Apple. But Apple was a really good company with stock options and everything, health and benefits and everything like that. So as an employee, especially when a lot of companies, and I don't know if this is like this for all, I would assume it's like this for the big companies like Blizzard, EA, that employees like working there because it's stable, right? It's a good company. It pays their bills. And this is why I always laugh when people are like, oh, I buy this game for the devs. And I'm like, the devs get paid. The devs get their paycheck. They're not working pro bono and only get money when the game makes money. They're sitting there, sitting pretty. They walk in every day. The EA offices in Maitland were beautiful. They're gorgeous, right? Great view, right? Got like a cafeteria and everything. Right? Everyone's it's like crazy. You know what I mean? I just think it's funny that people always think, well, I gotta buy this. I gotta buy this for the devs. Be like, no, I bought this game this weekend. It's called Deadly Days Road Trip. It's a roguelike, came out a couple days or weeks ago, whatever, right? Deadly Day Road Trip. We'll probably play it tonight on stream, okay? It's a Vampire Survivor, but done in a zombie-esque format. It's like 1 to 2 guys made this thing. That guy needs you to buy his game, right? That guy needs you to buy his game because that's how he's going to pay his bills, okay? Madden Football doesn't need you to buy their game and their microtransactions so Para's mom can make it through the week, right? Completely two different situations here, right? One's a conglomerate company paying millions and billions of dollars out to their employees that are sitting there having their lattes and massage therapist that comes in on Thursdays to pat in their back to make a game for you, where the other people are literally putting up their house for mortgage, okay, so they can make a game. There's two different spectrums. Titan says, play Anthem before you can't. They're shutting down the online, right? You could still play it afterwards, right, Titan? Like you could play the single player? Netflix is preparing for a bid war between Netflix and Paramount. Oh, I didn't know that. I'll have to do some more research on that. Maybe I'll make a video for Nerding with 30. Dog says, I like to say thank you for all that buy EA. Sin says, howdy, folks. Fellow graybeards, podcast happens and snarky lurkers, or sneaky lurkers. Appreciate that. All right, let's go. Let's go to second story here. Second story we have is over half of the Japanese game companies are using AI in development, according to a new survey, including Level 5 and Capcom. If you guys like what we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just have conversations, give you the news stories, get you through a couple of hours of your day. If you like it, like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Appreciate it very much. So over half of the Japanese game companies are using AI in development to a new survey, including Level 5 and Capcom. A survey in Japan game companies showed that AI use has reached a tipping point. Okay. As a report, automation of a survey conducted by Computer Entertainment Supplier Association, the CESA, during June and July, found that 51% of Japanese game companies are using AI in some capacity. The survey response came from CESA member companies, which include likes of Capcom, Level 5, Square Enix, Sega, and many more spanning major developers and indies alike. In response, reported using AI in generating visual game assets, story and text generation, and programming assets. Additionally, 32% of CESA member companies also reported that they are also using AI to help develop in-house game engines. There's also been a lot of high-level discussion and grand statements about generative AI potential using gaming, but it's also surprising just how much a foothold it already has, at least in Japan. Some CESA members have been open about using AI. Automation points out, including Level 5 and Capcom, for instance. Level 5 is using it pretty extensively in everything from visual upscaling to character creation and code generation. Now, I know there's a story a couple of weeks, maybe months ago, that Call of Duty was getting shit on because they were making skins that were AI. So they weren't even hiring an artist anymore. They were just doing AI and then putting it out there. And then, so like, they're not even paying the artists anymore. They're just using AI. Now, I use AI. I use AI pretty much every day to come up with the titles and different things. I'll put it inside of ChatGPT. I'll take all the articles, all the headings, I put it in, and it goes boom. It puts the title for me. If I like it, it gives me different examples of what a title should be, and then it makes a body text for me, and then I insert that, and it saves me time, okay? I don't use AI for a lot of other things. That's about all I use. I might use it for an idea for certain things, but that's how I use it, right? I might ask it to make a thumbnail, to give me an idea for a thumbnail, and then it tells me, use this text here, make it on the left side, make it on the, items like that. But other than that, I don't really use it. But now, everyone's using it. Everyone's using it, and not only are they using it to replace what they're doing, right? It's just everyone's using it for artwork, for the board design or the level design. They're doing it for thumbnails. They're doing it for the actual thing. People are using it for the actual content creator on streams. Gaming companies are all doing this, and I don't know why someone that works for a company would be okay with this, because if a boss comes to me and says, hey, I need you to script this AI program so it could take over your job, you're going to be like, nah, I don't want to do that. So they fire you and they hire someone else that will do the job. So you have to do it, right? So now you're making your own replacement with AI. You're teaching the AI what your job is, and that AI is going to take over your job. And then you're out of the job. It says the potential use of generative AI in gaming varies drastically, though it's just opinions on it. Using AI to speed up repetitive coding and animation tasks is one frequent cited use case, which is fine, I guess, right? But let's say I'm a coder. Let's say 8 hours of my day for 4 days, so a 40-hour work week, okay, or a 32-hour work week of my 40 is sitting there doing mundane, repetitive coding. But now I get to do the job, and that does it for me. So now 32 hours for that week is completely gone that I can maybe do something else with. Sure, but now you just gypped yourself 32 hours of work because that's how long it took you to do it, right? I said the same story in when I worked for the convention centers and setting up stuff, right? We used to get paid by the day. So if you finished that job in 2 hours or 10 hours, you got paid the same. So obviously your incentive as the employee was to do great work in a short period of time so you could get less work, right? Like less hours, get your work done in less time and get paid for the full day. Well, then the investors, the clients that would walk around and go, oh, my whole thing is set up, but you guys charged this amount of money, and yet there's no one on the floor, but everything's done. Everything's finished. They don't need anything. But they start making up things. They're like, well, I would want a new TV stand here, and there's no one here. Oh, we sent them home for the day because they're done with the thing. I'm like, oh. So then they went to hourly. So then what happens? Well, with hourly, we take our sweet, sweet time, because if I got paid $400 for the day, but now I got to put in 10 hours in at $40 an hour, okay, then I would have to take my sweet time to get that $400 a day. So I start walking real slow. I take a little longer lunch, right? Like I might do something for an hour that will take up like 4 hours, and then I take my sweet time. Oh, you need that cable over there? I picked up that cable and I walk real slow over to the next thing, right? This is the mentality of it. So what happens here with AI now, I can just imagine as a coder, you're using AI for certain things, but now you're slowly doing absolutely nothing, but making it look like you're doing something just so you don't get replaced, just so you can keep your job for those 32 hours that you're actually not doing anything, because AI is now taking your job over. But let's see, right? The conversation is probably why some companies aren't embracing the tech yet. For instance, Nintendo has said it's steering clear of generative AI for the time being, citing that copyright concerns, admirable bit of internal consistency from the fiercely. This company was also about always suing everybody for copyright concerns, right? Other major players have also spoken up about adopting the technology responsibility for protecting the human element in game development, like Larian Studios CEO Sven Vick. This guy's the unsung hero of video games, right? This guy, whatever this guy makes, from Larian Studios, whatever Larian Studios makes until otherwise, said otherwise, right? I'm a fan. I will buy anything this man has to buy, to sell, because he's a true fan of gaming, understands how to treat his employees, understands how to make a video game. Okay. He laid out in the view of his AI in an interview with IGN last year, explaining, so my stance on AI is really straightforward. It's a tool that we use to help us do things faster. We have so much work that we are happy to take an assistance from anything, or assistance from anything. I don't think that it'll ever replace the creative side of things. We went on to state that his team had already hired 15 new concept artists to solve the bottleneck rather than using AI, right? Like, hell yeah, right? That's what you want, right? You want people to be like, hey, we need an artist. See, Activision that has 9,000 employees, like, no, we'll get AI. We don't want to hire an extra 9,001 employee. Okay, we want to hire AI because we don't want to pay them, and then put that in the microtransaction store and then sell that for $15 a piece. Okay, because Activision. Okay, so there you go. So what do you guys think about AI? Now, obviously, like Swen says, from Larian Studios, it's a tool, but there's a problem when you make the tool. Okay, like for instance, a lawnmower is a lawnmower, and you either have to ride it and steer it, or you have to push it, unless you have a robot that does it for you. Okay, well, obviously there's robotic lawnmowers out there, but are they doing a better job? If no one's paying attention to what it is, there's things that you do when you're mowing the grass that you have to pay attention for, right? You have to walk around and pick up sticks and rocks so you don't damage the actual blades, okay? But at the same time, now robots just go out there, you're like, push start and let it go by itself. And they're like, right? You cut out stuff, it helps you, but at the same time, you're diminishing your actual work ethic. You're diminishing what it actually does. Maybe you stop checking because now you believe that the AI that you're doing the thing is not going to make any mistakes. You're not double checking. Instead of being the worker and doing the work and checking as it goes, now you're just a checker where the AI is doing the work, and then you're like, the AI is fine. I don't need to check it. And then you have other problems ensued down the line, right? When people are not double checking. Look at people that write articles. They're spell check, and yet they don't use it because they think that it's automatically perfect. Or they have AI write the articles for them. And when they write the articles in AI, all of a sudden they think, oh, it's perfect. But is it really? Okay. I've noticed a lot. I can see if this one's using it, right? There's ways to tell. There's ways to tell that people are using AI and not, but they're not checking their work because they think the AI is perfect. And now it actually diminishes the actual work ethic of the person working, and then actually the actual work that you put out. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Do you think AI is good? Do you think it's bad? Do you think it could be good if it's used in the correct way? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some other videos. Thanks for watching. Let's see what you guys are saying in the live chat. If you guys are in the live chat, make sure you hit that like button. Helps us out here. Okay, we do this every day, Monday through Thursday. Life sucks. You kind of just want to sit at your house. Maybe you're mowing the lawn. Maybe you're doing laundry at home. Maybe you're at work. Okay, I just want to get 2 hours of your time. If you like it, come by, hang out with us. We just talk about different topics. Right? If it's gaming, if it's entertainment, if it's sports, if it's my life, whatever it is. Right? Get you through a couple hours of your day. We appreciate you very much. What's going on, Mr. Luke? Clip says, did you see how popular Megabonk got actually beat the current player count of Vampire Survivor this weekend? That's awesome. I looked it up when you said something about it. I thought it was interesting looking, but instead I went to go play Deadly Day Trip. Let me show you what this game is, right? Let me show you what this game is that I'm playing. Right? If you guys haven't seen it, it's actually pretty good. Right, and we probably it's called Deadly Days Road Trip. Okay, Aaron, I'll put this here. right? It's a really, I mean, we're talking indie game here, okay? We're talking indie game here, right? This is not my gameplay, but all it is, it's like a Vampire Survivor. It's a roguelite survival game, okay? So basically what you're doing is you're going to, actually, I'll put it there, right? So you're picking a map, okay? And each of your maps, like you start, and when you highlight one of the maps, okay, it tells you what the loot is, it tells you how size the map is, and it tells you what the fuel is. You have a bus that you have to fuel up to move to the next location, okay? So as you do it, you pick your path. You can, crisscross. You can go up here. You can go down here. There's a shop here that you can get, so on and so forth. There's like mini stage bosses, and there's a boss at the end that you actually fight. And as you're playing through the game, you're finding packages. Okay, here, actually, let me, right? So you're looting different cars to find fuel and different places or different pieces, okay? Things that you put in your backpack, and you have to complete the stuff in your backpack. Every time you level up, you can take that thing and put it in your actual inventory to use right then and there. But if you find it in the world, you have to extract. So like right now, he's got a package coming in. He clicks that, and when he clicks in that, he picks one of these three things. This one's all backpack space. So you could take this backpack space and put it into your loadout, or you find a thing, you throw it into your inventory, your stash, which you then have access to afterwards. Okay. And as you go through, there's different levels that keep leveling up. Like the longer you stay on the board, the more intensity happens, right? Very simplistic, right? I think it's like $9 right now on Steam. I think regular price like $15. Very well done game. It's an auto shooter if you want it to be. If you don't want to do auto shooter, you can aim where you want to shoot and click the mouse button or whatnot. You get XP on the ground, which also levels up the yellow bar at the bottom here. When it hits 100%, you get that airdrop that comes in. But as you're fighting, you're going to all the different cars. You're using the map over here to find where the loot is, right? It's actually a pretty nice little game. So that's what I've been playing this weekend. Right, so there you go. Check it out if you like it. I'll probably put some gameplay up over on our other channel, 30 and Still Gaming, uploads for that. All right, let's see what you guys are saying here. He has been soulless from so when they first became a publicly traded. Jason says, Trump just put a 100% tariff on all movies made outside of America. What a clown. What he's trying to do, Jason, and you don't have to be a fan of it or not, as somebody that worked in the film industry and lost a lot of jobs because of people's incentives and stuff like that outside the country. If you want to show your picture, like I lost my job, right? I lost my job because all the things went overseas because America wasn't putting any incentives in place. And then like Paris was doing it or Britain was doing it. So what he's trying to do, just like everything else, that's why he's putting a tariff in. He's trying to incentivize people that are in here, like Hollywood's here. You can go on location and you can film in Paris, right? But if you have majority of your film outside of the actual states, but you want to show it over here, then you're going to pay more money. He wants you to film here, right? So again, you can not like what he has to do or what he's doing, okay? For me, I like it because if I was still working in the industry, I would like jobs to come back here so I can actually do the job. Because unless I'm working for that company and they fly me out over there, they would just go hire other people over there, and then I wouldn't get the work. Paris says, yeah, Larian is an incredible studio, and Baldur's Gate 3 is historic. What's going on, Kraken? Kraken says, I need more AI slop. What's going on, Water Bear? I don't know what the sales are for Madden. I think Madden's their sales were low this year, but I'm not really too sure what the sales were. Jesse says, when AI is getting better in 7 years of business, they don't need people anymore, and they don't people right now in business today because of them. Well, the funny part is down the road, I'll see what people always say. We have to. You have to support the devs, support the devs, support the devs. What about there's no devs making the actual game? I just saw a thing that Sarge sent me this morning. OpenAI is making a feature film. OpenAI is making a feature film that's all done by AI. Nobody's involved in it in any way, shape, or form. Everyone says like they're years and years away. No, they are months away from actually making a feature film. Now, people that go watch it, who's getting paid for that? No one worked on it. It's all made by AI. So who gets that money? OpenAI or the person that? Because he didn't type the. We had a conversation about this. He didn't type the script. He didn't do anything. It's just OpenAI is doing everything. Amazing. ROG says it's good as a tool, but as far as perfect and still requires someone to double check it. Devs have also been using AI tools for a long time. As long as they don't outsource their abilities to things that create, we should be okay. But meaning we're not going to be okay. Which means we're not going to be okay. Let's see what else you guys are saying. As long as you buy their Madden loot boxes, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Warbear says, can twist for the next Jedi Order game made by EA in order to unlock the lightsaber. Pay only $19.99 for the crystal, $39.99 for the hilt. That sounds absurd, but true, all at the same time. Water says, I bet it's going to be a badass film. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be great. Eclipse says, I was surprised to see FIFA hit 100,000 this weekend on Steam. PC gamers don't usually support sports games. Is it really that much? 100,000 on Steam, huh? Interesting. All right, we got the next story, which is last Thursday is when Xbox announced the ROG Ally, the price, right? They waited to the very end. They didn't announce it right away, and they said it was $599 and $999. Okay, which is just absurd. It really is. It's absurd. Okay. A handheld of $1,000. Now, obviously, not everyone's going to buy the $1,000 version. And I love the people that just come out blindly and they're like, oh, well, they sold out. They sold out. And makes me laugh because even Xbox said, oh, it's sold out through our website, but you can go buy it here. Meaning, how many did you put? Right? How many did you put? How many did you put out on the stores? Because if we all know this happens, where when the Xbox Series S and X came out, or the PlayStation 5 originally came out, and they went to GameStop and they're like, we only have 5 in stock. First 5 get it. 10 in stock, 20 in stock, whatever. And they're like, oh, it's sold out. Right? Everyone's like freaking out. And I actually put out there, let me actually find my tweet that I put out just to show you, because I think it's funny, right? I think it's funny because when people, they just love going out and saying certain things. So here, replies, I think Colt Eastwood said it the other day. Okay, let me see where it is. Where is it? Where's my reply to him? Take a break. Oh, it's right here. Right? Colt Eastwood says, to all that said, the Xbox ROG Ally X at $1,000 is dead on arrival. Right? Because Asus ROG Ally Xbox X sold out worldwide on the Xbox store. Right? So I just said, funny how both the Steam Deck and PlayStation Portal sold out at launch, but neither actually sold well. Selling out doesn't always mean success. It just means they didn't make enough stock. When they share the actual numbers, then we can discuss. Okay? Which is a play on words, because obviously they're not going to tell us the sales numbers because it doesn't happen. So someone actually replied and said, Microsoft never shares the numbers. And I said, that's the point. So we will not be discussing it, right? We won't be discussing it because when someone says they sold out, they didn't have enough out there on purpose. This is what Nintendo does. This is what companies do. If I have one giveaway to give to somebody, we have one giveaway, and I need everyone in chat. Whoever puts a 1 in chat can be in. I don't have a giveaway, actually. No, there's no giveaway. But if I had a giveaway and I said, everyone that hits 1 in the chat, right, you're making a buzz up for something and be like, oh my God, everyone in chat just hit a 1 and we sold out super fast. Well, I only had 1, right? I only had one thing. So obviously Robert Jones gets it. He was the first one to put 1. Sorry, Z. Okay. You get absolutely nothing. Either of you. Okay. When you say that this is sold out, but you don't give the actual number, like if they said 1 million units are out there and it's sold out in 6 seconds, it'd be like, oh, damn, that's a million copies sold. Okay. But that's not what happened, right? 5 things could have been there and they're like sold out super fast. And I love how they use the term sold out, but then because it's sold out so fast on Xbox, they're like, oh, you can still buy it at Best Buy. You can still buy it at Target. Right now, you can still buy the things. Okay. And then there's idiots out there that are buying from scalpers. If you're buying from a scalper, you're a moron. Okay. Because you can literally still get the $1,000 ROG Ally X from other sites that still have them in stock because they're not sold out. Okay. But yet they're buying from scalpers that are double the price. You have more sense than sense. Okay. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. The ROG Ally Xbox Ally could have been cheaper. It could have. But why would it be cheaper when someone's willing to pay $1,000 for it? All right. Discussion between Microsoft and Asus to make the ROG Ally and Xbox Ally X cheaper than $599 and $999 did not proceed. According to sources familiar with the situation, Microsoft and Asus were reportedly discussing ways to subsidize the ROG Xbox Ally to keep the price below expectations, though those discussions bore no fruit. Okay. Listen, systems used to sell at a loss because they would sell you exclusive games, okay, on the system, and you would buy the system because of the game. Well, we don't live in that world anymore, right? Because now games are everywhere. Okay? Right now, Nintendo's still holding on to that. Nintendo's still holding on to we have our first party titles, so if you want to buy this, you got to pay for it. Hence why they're like, we're going to lose it soon. Hence why we're charging $80 and price variation of our first party titles for Nintendo, because they know that soon, they're not going to have people that buy their systems. You're going to have less people buying the systems, so you have to make the money back out on the other side, okay? So they used to give the systems cheaper, and then they would lose money on that, but they would make money in the long run because you would buy video games, okay? Well, now you're not buying the system, right? Xbox doesn't care if you buy the system or not, right? And if Xbox made their own handheld and didn't team up with someone, maybe they would go for a loss, okay? But because Xbox Ally, or I said ROG Ally, teamed up with Xbox, they're probably paying a percentage. They get a certain percentage of everything. And they're like, well, we don't want to take a loss. And Xbox is like, well, we're not taking a loss because we didn't put anything into it. And Asus is like, well, we're not going to take a loss, so we're going to sell it for this price. And Xbox is like, okay, because it doesn't matter if you sell it for that or don't sell it for that, because Xbox is everywhere, right? It's on a phone, it's on a tablet, it's on a PC, it's on a television set, it's on your handheld. It doesn't really matter, right? So Xbox doesn't really care because they don't even want to sell their own Xboxes. That's why they're charging $800, $900. But they also had to raise the price because they had to make this look better, right? They had to make this look better. They're conditioning us right now. Right now, they're conditioning you that the next consoles, not the handhelds, the next consoles are going to be over $1,000 or close to $1,000, okay? This is what they're doing right now. They're conditioning us to accept this. It's like, well, this is what it is. So by all means, buy the stuff, okay? And then complain about it that it's too much or you're not getting your games, okay? Because, again, this is as powerful as the Xbox Series S, or maybe a little bit more powerful, okay? Following the reveal in June of 2025, the ROG Xbox Ally X were touted as premium way for Xbox gamers to play their favorite titles on the go. Both ROG Xbox Ally systems utilize the AMD Ryzen Z2 processor and have Windows 11 pre-installed, as many operating systems. Apps like Steam, Battle.net, Epic Games Store can also be downloaded and installed on each handheld device. While the ROG Ally and Xbox Ally X had their October 16th launch confirmed during Gamescom, the prices of both handhelds remain a mystery due to ongoing tariff situation between the U.S. and various nations. Yeah, I'm sure it's because of the tariffs. I'm sure it's because of the tariffs. Always got to bring the tariffs in. Okay. While the ROG Ally, Xbox Ally, and Xbox Ally X are currently priced at $599 and $999 respectively, there was reportedly a point where each price could have been lower. Like what? What would have been? $899 instead of $999? Get out of here. Okay. As reported, The Gamer, the Xbox Era, and John Clark, Microsoft Aces considered subsidizing the ROG Ally handhelds after previously leaked prices caused fan backlash and negative feedback. The choice led to both companies not to reveal the price of the ROG Xbox Ally lineup at Gamescom, despite sharing the October 16th launch date. Instead of subsidizing consumer costs, the prices were increased to their current $599 and $999 marks, meaning whatever choices Microsoft and Asus had discussed never panned out. Do you know what I would have done? Or actually what I'm doing? Okay. If I was an actual customer, I wouldn't have bought this, which I'm not. Okay. Because I know if they didn't sell this, okay, this price would have diminished dramatically because they went, holy Christ, we didn't sell as many as we thought we would because we didn't have a million idiots buy the $999. Okay, we only had 250,000 idiots buy $999. Okay, and now we have to lower the price. So I can't wait for this to go down to, let's say, $799 or $699 for the top end version, and the $599 version will go down to like $399 because the price is absurd, okay? For a mobile device like this to be that high, and unless you're specifically using this and you travel, maybe you're in Europe, maybe you're in Japan, okay, where you're traveling all the time, you're on a train, you're in a taxi, you're on a plane, okay, then by all means, buy what you want. But if you're buying this so you can sit on your couch while your wife sits and watches the 75-inch, the 85-inch, the 99 or the 95-inch television set in your living room, and you're staring at an 8-inch, 10-inch screen, and you paid $1,000, you could have went into your own room, bought yourself a PC setup, okay, and had way more, and you could actually take that device and stream it to your mobile phone and have the exact same experience that you would have had with the mobile device. But, you know, that's just me. Okay, it says on Twitter, Insider Gaming, Tom Henderson corroborated with Clark's initial report the high price of ROG Xbox Ally X, in particular, flows recent trend from Microsoft. Right, starting October 3rd, the Xbox Series XS console lineup will also see a second price increase in 2025, which is due to the U.S. government ongoing tariffs. Again, it's not because of the tariffs. Go watch my other morning show, okay? Or go watch The Real Fake Wizard, okay? Talk about the tariffs as well, okay? Because Xbox going up in price is not because of tariffs. They're already here in the country. And if you think it's because of the tariffs, I'm sorry, you're a moron, okay? So, which is due to the U.S. government ongoing tariffs on goods imported from countries like China, where Microsoft and Asus conduct manufacturing business. The Xbox Series S 512 gigabyte will now start at $399 and a $100 price jump from the 2020 launch price. Okay. Despite the steep $99 price tag, pre-orders of ROG Ally X are selling out quickly, only on the Xbox Store. Okay. Quick pace, as it also is writing, it remains to be seen how the market will respond to the launch of ROG Xbox Ally. Well, the funny part is they'll just tell you that it's sold really well and it's sold out on all the places. Okay. But they won't tell you the actual number unless the number hits a number that they actually want you to share. Okay, that they want to share. Because if they don't share the number, then it didn't sell well. If they come out and tell you that it sold 5 million units or 6 million units, right? Because we know that Nintendo said they're the fastest selling console of all time. They told you the numbers. If it was the fastest selling console of all time, they would just tell you it's sold out everywhere. Okay, because they know that their number wasn't good enough, but they have to make it seem like that it's selling very well. So if the ROG Ally is sold out everywhere, and it sells 2 million copies, 3 million copies, then they will tell you that, okay? But if it doesn't hit that number that they want to promote, then it didn't sell well. And they'll stay quiet as long as they can and just tell you that, oh, it's coming back in stock. It's sold out again, right? But they will not share the actual numbers. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what I do here, check out some of other videos. Thanks for watching. Ron Slusher says, how is the PlayStation Portal and the PSVR doing? Well, remember, let's look this up real fast, right? PlayStation Portal total sales. Okay. Remember that this sold like hotcakes, Ron. Remember? This sold like, I was told that this thing was flying off the shelves. It was sold out everywhere. You couldn't get your hands on it. And this is before it actually did Wi-Fi. This is where you couldn't play any of your games. You had to be in your house, in your living room. You couldn't go to McDonald's. You couldn't do anything. You couldn't play any game. You had to play certain games on the thing, right? Flying off the shelves. Hotcakes. PlayStation Portal has sold approximately 2 million units globally as of late 2024. Okay, based on the market research from late 2024 to early 2025, indicating around 3% of PlayStation 5 owners had purchased a Portal. The device was also a strong seller, particularly during the holidays. Was it? What? Was it? Because they said it was going to sell millions. Well, it did sell millions. It sold 2 million copies, and it struggled to get to 2 million. Struggled. But everyone will tell you, okay, again, I'm not a blue guy. I'm not a green guy. I'm not a red guy. I just look at the stuff and tell you how it is. And I'm like, it's not selling well. Everyone's like, oh, it's selling like hotcakes. It's flying off the shelves. Flying off the shelves means that this thing would be like 8 million copies. Okay. Right. The same people that bought the PlayStation Portal would tell you that the Steam Deck is not good. Right. So let's look at the Steam. Right. And the Steam Deck is not highly marketed. Right. Right. So Valve's official figures of Steam Deck sales are not public, but the market research by firms, okay, estimated total shipment as nearly 6 million units by early 2025, with also the further projections suggesting that sales could approach 8 million by 2025. Well, which one is it? Did it sell 6 million? Is it 8? But they don't tell you. They don't tell you because they're not happy with the number. Okay? Because if Xbox sold their console 8 million, it'd be all over the place. They would tell you that, oh, look at the devastated sales, even though they sold 38 million, right? They're like, oh, it's a shit box. It hasn't sold much. But yet these handhelds, the most popular handheld, the Steam Deck, people, and I'm not giving shit to Steam Deck. It's the most popular handheld device that people love. Computer, PC guys, right? Obviously, the biggest handheld is actually the Switch, okay? Nintendo Switch 2 has sold more than the Steam Deck, okay? Now, obviously, two different markets, right? Two different price tags and stuff. But my point is that people like to tell you that it's selling fantastic, and yet, obviously, it's not. Robert Jones says the point of handhelds like Steam Deck and ROG are that you can play games natively. Otherwise, just stream. Let's see. Waterbear says this is a complete waste of money if you have the money to buy it or not. Sin says, by the way, I saw Leonardo DiCaprio's movie One Battle After Another, and it was Stone Trip. Sean Penn was hilarious. Beware of Seaman Demon. It's a good movie. I still have to watch his last movie that Leonardo DiCaprio came out. Maybe we'll watch. Me and my wife, we do multiple movies for like New Year's. Maybe we'll watch this one at the end of the year. Waterbear says, I know you guys love supporting Microsoft, but come on, really? Let's see. Aku says, Waterbear, the native game playing versus streaming when I'm going through areas of a weaker internet is useful. Clip says, who's you guys? I just like cheap stuff, and this is why I play Game Pass. Why pay $70 for a game when I could play 12? Yeah. Jason says, no brain. You should pre-order everything day one. I just think it's funny that, look, if you don't have to justify anything, right? Like, if you want a handheld and you want to pay $1,000 and you want to flaunt it to me and say you bought a $1,000 handheld, cool. We both know that you paid too much, and I think you're a moron for that, right? I don't think you're a moron for wanting the actual device. I think you're a moron for buying the device for $1,000 because we also know that it shouldn't be $1,000. Right? That's what I believe. Right? I believe that if you buy this for $1,000, you're not helping anybody. You're not even helping yourself because you could have got this on sale. You could have waited. If no one bought it, they would diminish the price. Okay? Like, there's a whole secondary market in the world, right? Like if people don't buy something or someone bought it fast and then it doesn't sell very well or it's not very popular, you could go to a secondhand shop and pick it up for much cheaper because they knew that because it didn't sell a lot, they weren't going to support it a lot. And if they don't support it, then there's no use for it. So they lower the price. But everyone wants it day one because it looks cool or this. And I get it. Content creators, streamers, they either get a device for free to review or they purchase it because they're going to make 10 times that doing the game review or the console review or whatnot. ROG says, you may have the handheld, but still have $1,000. So who's the real winner? You may have the handheld, but I still have $1,000. Well, you can use your $1,000 wherever you want. I just think it's dumb paying $1,000 for a handheld when you know that a handheld shouldn't be $1,000. Pear says, exactly. I love pawn shops as well. I often window shop when I have the funds and also willing to see. I also make and pick up GameCube for my old Final Fantasy copy. Yeah. I was having this conversation with my wife the other day where it's only the video game industry, right? Like if you go to Facebook Marketplace or what's the other one? OfferUp or any other place, right? Like if I'm looking, like for instance, we're looking for a lawnmower, okay? I'm not going to go to the store, okay, and buy a $15,000 lawnmower, okay, when I can get that same mower that someone already bought, right? And you look around and you see what's in good shape and you go and you can pick it up for, I don't know, $2,000. Maybe it needs a little love and tender care, right? You purchase it. No one looks at that person and says, you're cheap and broke, right? No, you're looking at that going, well, the investment that I don't have $15,000 to spend on a lawnmower, right? But this is more in my ballpark, so I'm gonna do that. Is my fan? Sorry, give me 1 second. Right. You're gonna get a better price. No one drives around and says, you know what? I'm looking for the most expensive gas there is, right? No one's driving around to find the most expensive gas. You're looking for a deal. You're looking for the gas station that has the cheapest price. But for some strange reason, in video games, okay, we have people that are like, well, if you don't buy at full price, you're broke. Like, how does that work, right? No matter where you go, you're looking for a deal. Grocery store, buying a car, buying something used, okay? Wherever. 2 for 1, right? Whatever it is. But for video games, for some reason, these people that have come into the industry, right? Because a lot of people have more money than time now because we're adults. When you were a kid, you had to scrape up stuff and you had to ask your mom and dad for stuff. And they're like, well, I'm working 40 hours a week, son, daughter. Yeah, we can get you something for Christmas. We can get you something for your birthday. We can get you something, right? But now you're an adult. Now you have money. Now you have a job. You have responsibilities. And you have more money than time. So people are like, I'm going to spend my money how I want because I'm an adult. I want to spend that. But at the same time, for some reason, video games are like, no, I'm going to pay full price. And if someone doesn't want to pay full price, I'm going to call them broke. I'm going to call them stupid. I'm going to call them, you're not a real gamer. It's like, huh? What are we talking about? Right? Paying full price for a thing when you know that price shouldn't be there. Okay? Obviously, the consoles have just went up in price. $150. Usually consoles go down in price the longer they're out. These are actually going up in price. Huh? And it was like, well, it's the market, it's the economy, and it is the stuff's still in the States. There's no tariffs. Well, the company's gotta make money. It's been out for 5 years. You would hope they're making money. They're charging me $20 a month on Game Pass. They're charging me $80 for video games. They're charging me for microtransactions and battle passes and everything. They're the most profitable they've ever been, but you're going to be and choose their side of saying, well, they have to be $1,000. Otherwise, they wouldn't make money. They didn't make money on any console until the last 2 consoles came out where they actually kept them at the actual price so they can make money. They pushed it over to us. Instead of the software sales, right, they pushed it off to us. It's just ridiculous, right? Roic says, when I got my mower, I waited until the middle of the winter, and it was on sale for almost $1,500 cheaper. That's right, Roic, because you're a smart consumer. Right? We buy these little kiddie pools for our ducks and stuff, right? Right? It's a $10 pool, right? But during the summer, they charge like $25 for the pool. Okay? Well, when the summertime's over and the wintertime comes, we buy like 5 or 6 little kiddie pools. You know why? Because they're on stock. They're not going to sell, so they put them cheaper, and we pay $5. So instead of someone paying for one pool for $20, $25, we're getting 5 for the same price for them. Does that make me an idiot? That doesn't make me an idiot. That doesn't make me an idiot. Waterbear says, I always believe in the total opposite when it came to technology. Never pay full price because of the advanced rapidity speeds. The same game period for hardware will also be 30% less in a few months. 100%. Right? In the film industry, you used to be able not to buy cameras. Right? We're talking professional cameras like Panasonic and stuff. You have to rent the cameras. And when new cameras came out, instead of buying a $20,000 camera or $50,000 lens or whatever it was, you would rent it. Okay. Until you're like, hey, you know what? I could buy this and then I could rent it out myself because it's a hot commodity. Okay. And because the supply and demand is so high. So if, let's say they only made, and this was a big thing that happened, the Red, Oakley, right, made cameras, and it was called the Red, okay, Red 1 and stuff like that. When they first came out, they were really lower price, where before you had to rent Panavision and all the other ones to make a movie. But now they made a $20,000 camera. So what people did was they bought these cameras and they made their own small little rental houses, right? Because they could take these and then rent it to someone else $100 a day, and they could pay that off, right? And other people didn't want to spend $20,000. So instead of renting Panavision, they rented people's Red 1s, okay? And so on and so forth. And then the digital cameras came down. Then you had the full CMOS chips and so on and so forth, right? Are those people idiots because they didn't want to pay $50,000 for a camera and instead they bought the $5,000 camera? No, they were looking for a deal. Again, only in video game space is it that you have to pay full price for stuff. Robert Jones says, 30, if you're a broke boy, just say so. Okay, I'm broke. Yeah, so it's a total scam. 1,000, you also get a laptop that destroys this. 100% El Nini. Nate says, what's up, everyone? Heading back to Wisconsin in 3 days. California didn't work out well. Too expensive here. Farming legendaries in Borderlands 4. Did you go out to California to move, Nate? Like for work? Or did you you were there for visiting? My fan is still going the opposite direction. What are we doing? You moved the whole family. Wait a minute. Not to get personal here. You moved your whole family to California to stay there for 3 days and you're moving back to Wisconsin? Yeah, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. This thing won't sell. Okay, so Elneny says this thing won't sell it. Would be shocked if it tops 1 million units. I'll give it 1 million. I'll say like 1.2 million units, Elneny. I think that's what I'll go with, right? But we're talking. I don't think we're talking like first month. I think down the road a little bit is what I think. It's a very niche market. If anything, the $599 one sells more than obviously the $1,000 one. $100%. I used to own a store next to the lake, and our best-selling things was stuff that you also needed for the lake. So we would also get all the stuff during the winter and then sell it and make money off of it. Sounds like you're a smart like you're a smart businessman, Eclipse. Most of the time, the stuff sold was cheaper than it was at Walmart because I got good deals on it. Moved out here with the family. Here for 4 months. My cousin, it wasn't 3 days. Gotcha. Cousin talked me into coming out to California, and me and my daughter. Well, I'm sorry it didn't work out for you. Yeah, California is very expensive. I used to love California, man. I used to be out there a lot. Unfortunately, and again, people that live out there, I mean, you have to, if you're there, you're there. But when I lived out there, I loved LA. I really liked San Diego. I liked San Francisco area. Loved Napa. All that stuff. I mean, I even took my wife on our honeymoon out there. It's not the same though over there. So, well, hopefully you're good and you'll stay on your feet and stuff. Travis says, 30, big question. It does this sell more or Virtual Boy on Switch 2? I think this sells more than the Virtual Boy for sure. Nate says, I'm in Sacramento. I've never been to Sacramento. Actually, that's not true. I passed through Sacramento one time. I've never stayed in Sacramento. I've driven through Sacramento a few times. All right, let's see what else is going on. Yeah, this ROG Ally, man. Is it going to sell? Here's what they'll come out with. Ready? They'll come out with it's sold above our expectations. That's what the article will be. It's sold above our expectations. Yeah, but we won't know what the expectations were, right? That's what it's going to be. That's exactly how it'll be. Let's see what's going on Twitter. I have another story here. We got this. What is this one? This is has to do with Halo. Okay. Leaks reveal that new details on Halo Combat Evolved Remake, hybrid Unreal Engine 5 and Blam Engine, sprint mechanic, co-dev studio, and more. Okay, if you guys like what we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Just take a moment. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do live shows. We do a gameplay over on our other channel, 30 and Still Gaming. We also do a podcast. We have 2 podcasts. We do a podcast called Chatting With, which I haven't done in a long time. The last guest was the Real Fake Wizard. But we that's called Chatting With, and then we also do another podcast called Generation X Gaming, which is every week on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. It ends my week because we do Monday through Thursday, and then I'm off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But yeah, come on out. We do a lot of different content. We have another channel called Nerding with 30, which goes over entertainment. Haven't done much with that. We have 30 and Still Gaming. We have this channel, 30 NSG, and we also do music. So if you guys also like to support us, you can stream the music. It's called Perk Up, Press Play. It's on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Pandora, iHeart. Anywhere music can be heard, streamed, or purchased, you can see our album called Perk Up and Press Play. And then we have a couple of other singles out there as well. Titan says, where's the new edition of Steam Deck? I'm sure it's coming. What's going on, Bat? Jason says, I haven't even read this yet. So Jason says, if it's all about the Halo, it's true, it's going to be a mess. That's the spirit, Jason. Okay. So it says a new leak claims that the Halo Combat Evolved remake will use hybrid Unreal Engine 5 and Blam Tech features, sprint, rework missions, and being developed with the help from another studio. Halo is clearly going through some big changes after years of fan feedback and somewhat bumpy road with Halo Infinite. Microsoft officially restructured 343 Industries into Halo Studios. It's the same, but different, but still the same. Okay, it's still the same. It's the same thing, right? Microsoft officially restructured 343 into Halo Studios in late 2024. Alongside the rebrand, it confirmed that the franchise is moving over to Unreal Engine 5 with multiple new projects already in the works. While nothing has been formally revealed yet, there has been a lot of rumors that also one of those projects is remake of the original Halo Combat Evolved. And now we've gotten even more details thanks to a new report from Halo content creator and leaker Rebs Gaming. Okay. New details on the Halo Combat Evolved remake. Rebs Gaming reported new information from a source who attended a private event and spoke directly to the developer working on the rumor Halo CE remake. According to Rebs, the developer is from a code development studio that previously helped 343 Industries on a feature on the Master Chief Collection. Rebs didn't name the studio, but said it isn't certain infinity and that this team has a lot more resources now, is handling major parts of the remake, including programming and design. One of the more controversial bits of Halo Combat Evolved remake reportedly includes a sprint mechanic in a current build, something that the original Halo didn't have. Rebs also said that the game will feature level design updates, especially to the infamous library mission, which also many fans remember that is a repetitive layout. It says, quote, I'm told the visuals are pretty much the same as they was in the Project Foundry, which also has amazing visuals and clearly based on the Combat Evolved, he said. He also continues to say there's also will be level design changes, mostly of the library mission, which involves Master Chief battling the Flood. On the technical side, the Halo Combat Evolved remake reportedly uses hybrid engine setup, mixing a modified Halo Reach Blam engine, which is Unreal Engine 5, and says compared to Oblivion Remastered, saying another thing I'm told is that the remake uses a hybrid engine set up between a modified version of Halo Reach Blam engine and Unreal Engine 5. It says, quote, my source says it's similar to the concept of Oblivion Remaster, which uses Unreal Engine 5 to handle the graphics and rendering, while a modified version of the original engine continues to handle the underlying gameplay logic and world systems. This approach allows the remaster to benefit from the modern visual technology while retaining the core mechanics and feel the original game, which sounds perfect for the Combat Evolved remake. Lastly, he said that separate multiplayer-focused Halo project is still in development, potentially as a long-term live service title that's part of more speculative, but lines up with past rumors. So, I hope, obviously, they're going to try to meal piece everything together, right? I don't know. I don't know, right? Obviously, you guys know where I think about remakes and remasters. If you're doing the exact same thing, we just had a conversation about Assassin's Creed Black Flag, or where they're taking the Artemis out and they're redoing stuff. Like if you're going to make a remaster, just make it the remaster. Don't change things. I know it's not a big deal. Putting a sprint in the thing kind of changes the whole thing. I get it. I totally get it. Like you're playing games now that all have sprint. Now you're playing a remaster of a game, and then you want to sprint. You push down the left analog stick, and the guy doesn't sprint. You'd be like, oh, this is stupid. They should put sprint. I totally get it. I just feel like I forget what that thing is called. When you start changing things, okay? It's the boat analogy, right? Like the old boat, but then you start changing the wood on the boat. Is the old boat still the old boat, or has it changed? I forget what that's called, but you know what I'm talking about, right? I feel like if you're going to do a remaster of anything, like just keep it the same. Now, obviously, the Oblivion Remaster, it's the same game for the most part, and they just use a new engine. I'm okay with the new engine type of stuff. I'm not okay when they start changing things in the actual game to modernize it. Like, you want to modernize the visuals, cool, but also just leave the rest of the stuff alone. But that's just my thoughts, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Are you excited for, if the Halo thing is true, are you excited for, Halo Combat Evolved remake? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what I do here, check out some of our videos. Thanks for watching. Bat says 30 for the next stream. Are you discussing about indie game beating AAA games? Do you have a certain story in mind, Bat? Because I have topics that are based on, if it's an article, we'll talk about it. If it's just like have a discussion about it, I have nothing planned for our AAA. If there's an article saying that AAA games are losing to indie games, I'll more than likely talk about it. So if there's an article out there, it's submitted into our Discord, into the submitted story section. Elnini says, I have zero confidence in 343. You mean Halo Studios? Who is this 343 you speak of? Who is this 343 you speak of? Elnini says, sorry. Halo Studios, sorry. Thankfully, Microsoft taking a jab at this next year's big year for the next generation, from what I understand. Oh, you know what? That I don't know why, Para. That just reminded me of. Did you guys see the new trailer for Battlefield? Did you see the new trailer for Battlefield? Hold on one second. No, that's not what I typed in. I forget there's like copyrighted music. It doesn't really matter, I guess, if it's good. I'll just play the video in the background. We won't put the music on. Okay. If you guys saw this, okay, this is obviously they went live action. Okay. It's funny because they have, look, if you guys didn't see that's Zac Efron. Okay. That's Zac Efron. Now, I don't think he's the highest paid actor out there, but I'm sure they paid a pretty penny for him to come on to Battlefield 6. So obviously that's got to go pay off to you guys, right? Because the PR numbers are expensive for this game. $450 million to $500 million for Battlefield 6. That's before marketing. Okay. So you got other people on here. You got Zac Efron, Jimmy Butler, Morgan Wallen, and Patty Pimbelt. Okay. Now, obviously, they paid for these guys for 15 seconds, and then they all of a sudden just get blown away. Okay. Now, it's funny because they are making fun of Call of Duty, right? They are making fun of Call of Duty. Now, they're doing a live action instead of the other videos that they used to do in the past, right? They're doing a live action commercial like Call of Duty, like other games like Borderlands and stuff did. For me, it's not really a big selling point to, make it live action, just show me actual gameplay and whatnot. Now, they show you. Now, I do like that they're showing you, like, yeah, we're not the Call of Duty crowd, which is counterproductive now because I'm a little confused. I'm a little confused as a Battlefield guy because I didn't want Call of Duty in my Battlefield. And then during the beta, there was a lot of Call of Duty-esque type of stuff in my Battlefield, which made me concerned. Now they're coming out and making fun of Call of Duty and killing off the guys saying, yeah, we're not like that. And they show, like, because they even say, who was that? And they're like, I have no idea, right? They don't care, right? Because that's showing like, oh, it's Battlefield guys. I don't care who that was type of thing. We're playing Battlefield here, right? Which I think is good. I do think, though, this is a little over the top, and I understand who they're going for because they're making fun of the Call of Duty crowd, but they're also making a Call of Duty commercial, right? You understand what I'm saying? They're making fun of the Call of Duty guys, but they're also making the commercial for the Call of Duty guys. Right? I think it's cool, but I would rather have seen this in-game type of stuff, right? Like, how much did this commercial cost? How much did this commercial cost? And another thing, this tells me they're really, really worried because they need this game to sell more than 12 million copies. They need it to. And it might. I said between 8 and 12, right? I said 8 and 12. They need more than that, right? Supposedly four studios over the last 4 years. This needs to sell a lot of copies. And if it doesn't sell well off the bat, that's when I think the Battle Royale comes out sooner rather than later. If it sells well, they hold off the Battle Royale. If it doesn't sell well, they bring the Battle Royale real fast. So they're showing you all the stuff. They're having fun. They're making it a Battlefield type of thing. Again, I think Battlefield, we played the beta. We played a lot of the beta. I enjoyed the beta. Again, my concerns with the game are not the game itself anymore. It's the after the game comes out. What happens with the Battle Royale? What happens with the portal? What happens with the player base type of stuff when you have an influx of people that have never played Battlefield before? What happens? Right? And it's also a little weird that they made the sale of EA right before this game came out as well. Which now they don't have to tell you the sales. Right? Just think about the timing for that. Right? Speculative or not, EA, publicly traded company, right before this game comes out, they're selling it off to a private firm. They don't have to tell you the sales numbers anymore. They said that they needed 100 million people to play this game. They don't need to tell you that anymore. They don't need to share any of that anymore. I find it very odd, very strange of the timing of this being sold off when this comes out, because they can spin it however they want. So there you go. So taking a shot at the Call of Duty guys, but at the same time, taking a shot at them, but making fun of them, trying to bring them in. We're making fun of you, but also we want you to come and play our game. Titan says EA going all in with Battlefield before buyout. Sure, they can go in. Remember when Square Enix was going all in on Outriders, Titan? Remember they were going all in? It was like November before. They showed off Outriders. They were saying, "Hey, you get this." They never mentioned Game Pass or anything, right? November came, December came. Commercials were still playing for Outriders. The beta came out. People liked the beta, right? January, February came out. They announced that it was coming to Game Pass. Then we hear that it didn't do very well. They stole money, basically. That they didn't see any money off the. It's stuff like this. They do a full court push on advertisements and stuff like that, and then they limp out the thing. They try to hype it up as much as possible for pre-orders, bonuses, all this other stuff, and then they kind of just went quiet afterwards, right? Everyone does it. All these companies do it. I think this is the next one in the thing. They were doing all the money because they had to, but they don't think they had enough interest as they thought they were going to have, and this is why I think they're like, yeah, let's get rid of it. We can hide it. Doesn't matter if it sells well or not. We can now cover it up. I do think it's going to sell well. Like I said, 8 to 12 million copies. Okay, I don't think it outdoes for sales numbers. Again, we probably won't ever know the sales numbers, but I don't think it outdoes Battlefield. Was it 3, which is 17 million units? I don't think it beats that. Okay, I do think that Battle Royale is going to be a flash in the pan type of thing. It's going to either work really well. Shit ton of people are going to come and play it, and then it's going to die off. Or it becomes the new Battlefield, right? Where Battlefield, the game itself, takes a back seat to Battle Royale and Portal. Eclipse says, so the guy that's got all his Sony games stolen is doing a boycott. Oh, for Travis. Sarge says, so nobody is going to talk about the obscene market on this game, or those obscene marketing on this game? 4 studios, do the math. Yeah, we know $450 to $500 million for this game before marketing. Ron Slusher says, I would also probably just wait for Battlefield 6 to land on Game Pass next year. A lot of red flags. El Dente says, I'm getting it. I like what I got in the beta. I hear you. I had a good time in the beta. I don't want to... the way I call it, El Dente, is I don't want a Trojan horse, right? I don't want to go in to think that what Battlefield's going to be, and then they change it on me. I would rather wait and then see what happens with Battlefield. That's me. But what I played, I enjoyed. All right. Let's see what's happening on Twitter. Anything else going on? iPad Mini 8 rumors. Claire Obscure Expedition on Steam is $34.99 at Newegg with code. What comes out? What comes out this week? We're on the tail end, right? 2 days left of September. We got Alien Rogue Insurgent Evolved Edition, comes out September 30th. We have Ghost of Yote on October 2nd. We have Kingsmaker on October 8th. Battlefield 6 is on October 10th. Then you have October 17th through the 19th. You have Arc Raiders beta open test. Then you have Arc Raiders coming out October 30th. Oh, Digimon Storytime Stranger. That's what you're talking about? Yep, that comes out on the 3rd. LW says, I get it. I respect it. My thoughts are, I just want in the beta, or just what... let me read it again. I can read English. I get it. I respect it. My thoughts are, I just want what's in the beta. But when I was playing with friends, so it made it funnier. I had a great time. Me, Mr. Luke played it. Me and Sarge played it. A bunch of us played it. I loved it. I had a good moment. People were coming back, just like with Helldivers. My friends group were coming back and we're playing Battlefield 6. I liked it. I was having fun with it. Again, I just can't do it. I don't want to get suckered in. Because if I pay $70 for that game, it comes out, and then all of a sudden, the player base, like 2 weeks later, Battle Royale comes in, player base all of a sudden says, oh, you know what? I'm going to play that. Then no one's playing Conquest. Then I'm waiting for Conquest mode. Then more people are playing Portal. I'm like, I'll just wait. I just want to wait. I just want to wait and see what happens with the actual game. I lose nothing. Nate says, Kingsmaker is just PC, right? Yes, for right now, probably for a year, Nate. It's coming out on console down the road, but right now, just PC. Travis, your birthday is September 30th? Like 2 days from now? Or is it October 30th? October 30th. Okay. Let's see what else. The boycott is official. The buyout is official. $55 billion deal. EA is now owned by a conglomerate, which includes Jared Kushner and the Saudis. Zero chance the studio continues a virtual signal of DEI. Yeah, probably not. Yeah. We'll see what happens there. A lot of people are going to get fired. Mark my words. A lot of people will be either leaving or getting fired. What the hell is this? The AI industry's latest curse on humanity is a fake actress if wants to turn into the next Scarlett Johansson. What are we doing? We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this tomorrow. What are we doing? Like, why? It's so ridiculous to me. PlayStation's 30th anniversary limited edition DualSense and PlayStation 5 back in stock. PC Direct in the UK. Everyone now is reporting on the Electronic Arts being acquired for $55 billion. See, that's why you guys should watch me in the mornings, right? I break news before everybody else does. We talk about it first. Everybody else is just making tweets and stuff about it. We talk about it. We talk about it right away. I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else worth mentioning right now. It's 12 o'clock. All right, we'll be back in about 40 minutes or so. We're going to be playing some more Helldivers with Mr. Luke over on our other channel, 30 and Still Gaming. If you guys want to come out, hang out with us as we do some gameplay there, come on by, 30 and Still Gaming. Links are in the description down below for all our channels, for music, for other channels in general. Appreciate it very much. If you guys like what we do here in the mornings for the Daily Grind, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I do appreciate you very much. If you're here for 1 second, 1 minute, or 1 hour, I do appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us. You guys have a great rest of your day, afternoon, or evening, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.